once again, because otherwise all this, more of this. Don't forget that last time we decided to make only one cross section. Now we will do much more, we can say, precise work. We will do 3 cross sections. That's why once again, let's choose right extremity. I will show for you 3 levels. Look to me, level number 1. It will be in the level of ulnar epiphysis. Proximal ulnar epiphysis, you remember, this is the main structure which is for the cubital joint. Middle third, it is the level of the diaphysis. Lower third, it is the level of the radial epiphysis, which is for the wrist joint. I want to remind you that ulnar bone from up to down stands smaller, radial vice versa, bigger. Let's start to do it. Because it is right extremity, I will put here M and L, and I will draw for you oval shape structure. That is the skin of our region. Put the number 1 and call it skin. And little bit, guys, because I have enough time, let's speak about quality of the layers. And let's start from the quality of the skin. Pay attention to me. If it is not hard for you, try to make the skin fold in the medial, in the lateral, and in the back surface. And tell me, please, in which surface it is more easy. Once again, medially, laterally, and posteriorly. Medially, guys. Medially, skin is thinner. Laterally and posteriorly, it's also elastic, but it's thick. It is thick. And then you make the fold, you feel that part of the fat also included inside of this fold. Not only purely skin, but fat also. Why it's happening, guys? Pay attention to me. In the posterior and in the lateral compartments, proper fascia gives several septas to the skin. And it makes, first of all, thicker the skin. And second, less movable. I don't say unmovable. Because generally you remember that in the extremities, there are only 2 regions with unmovable skin. It is palmar and plantar surface. All other regions have movable skin, but then you compare different parts to each other. You can find the more or the less movable compartments. Let's say usually medially, it is thinner and more movable. Why? Because the septas, which I mentioned, is not developed. I told you before, if you remember, that in the medial surfaces, wounds is usually bigger. Flaps of the disconnected soft tissues is usually wider. Why? Because it doesn't have so firm connection with deeper located structures. This is very important. Remember, please, in your future, if you will work in the surgery, you will see wounds of the medial surfaces of the extremities. We call it even flower-shaped wounds. Why? Because widely soft tissues disconnected from the deeper structures, and usually they need after the plastical reconstructions. Is it understandable? This remember one. About another structures of the skin. For the males, mainly in the posterior compartment, we have the hairs, we have sweat glands, we have sebaceous glands. By the way, if you will look to the anterior part, you will see that the pigmentation is not so much developed. This we use in the medicine. In the anterior surface of the forearm region, we can put different kinds of the allergical reactional some tests. Why here? Because again I say you, pigmentation is bad. Any inflammation due to the allergical reaction will be very greatly visible, and you can recognize the positive and negative reactions. If you will do it in the place with high pigmentation, so it will be visible. Let's continue. This is enough about skin. Now I will take the blue color, and inside of the black, I will draw the blue ring. And look, guys, I make this blue ring disproportional. It is ring number 3. Why it is disproportional? Do you see that it shifted to the medial side? And which kind of conclusion? Of course, number 3 will be proper fascia. But don't forget that between 1 and 3 will be layer 2, subcutaneous fatty tissue. And you can see that in medial side is less developed here. We spoke about it, yeah, with laughter. This is medial side. I'm very, very sorry, guys. It is medial side. It is medial side. I'm very sorry. I lose it. I mix it with lateral side, more developed. Disproportionately more developed. You can tell me why. Tell me why. Ask me why. I will ask you why. Because you sleep in my lessons there. Previous my lesson I spoke about it. Maybe you will say me why. Protection of what? Why you think that here this protection is more necessary than in another parts? Why not in lateral side? Why not in back side? Why not in front? Why medially? By the way, you're right, but you should explain your idea. Why especially in the medial side we need so much this protection? Most nerves. Is it possible for you to stand up? Now please hold your hands in normal position. Tell me please, in your opinion, which surface of your hands is more protected? More protected. Are you sure? Why?
Because
what?
Exposed.
You're absolutely right. Why my medial surface is more protected? Right. Friends, I ask, it is not the medicine. I show you why my medial surface. It's closed, guys. It's closed. It's attached to my body. Samely for lower extremity. Medial surfaces touch to each other. That's why evolutionally I teach you all big vessels and nerves in the extremities and upper and lower, located medially. Open please your previous picture. Open, open, open. Once again. Where is located main vessels and nerves? Medial interfacial space. Medial and lateral one is empty. That's why, friends, these diagrams, it's not for beauty. These diagrams, it's not for sell in the future. This is for studying. If I make the diagrams with you and you don't study them, what is the value? Don't sleep, friend, listen to me. That's why in the medial surface fat will be better developed for protection. Because whole vessels and nerves will be accumulated in the medial parts. That's why for the protectional purpose, medial fat is a little bit, not so much. But if you in your home, for example, you will try to locate your medial thigh and your lateral thigh, you'll see that medially there are more soft structures. Especially, by the way, it is actual not for the forearm, but much more for arm region. Can you tell me why? Why for arm it is this rule, which I say just now, about protection of vessels and nerves. Why it is in arm more actual than for forearm? Why it is for thigh more actual than for the leg?
From the medial interfacial space, they are changing.
Because single bone regions have interfacial spaces. Not medial, lateral, not important. They have interfacial spaces. And inside of medial spaces, we will have main accumulation of the vessels and nerves. Regions with more than one bone doesn't have interfacial spaces. They have osteofacial compartment. But again, predominantly structures will be shifted to the medial side to be more protected because this is closed surface, not open. From that point of the view, look to me. This is my look to me. This is my position. Tell me, please, in which part of my forearm region will be more vessels and nerves? In anterior or in posterior? Of course. Because now, because of position of my extremity, you can see this is anterior, my forearm. As you can see, in normal physiological position, anterior forearm is look to medial side. Posterior forearm look to, we don't fix our extremity like that. This is normal physiology. This is normal anatomical position, but that is normal physiological position. Now, dear friend, if it is not hard, open the previous diagram. Open. No, previous one.
That book.
No,
finished.
that one, dear.
That book finished this way.
But you show me this one. Tell me, please, how many rings you see in anterior forearm?
5.
All is in anterior?
No.
Attract your
1,
attention.
2, and 3, 4. This one.
First of all, do you know that you make the mistake in your picture? Do you know that you make mistake in your picture? Why from the nervus medianus you provided nervus interosseus anterior by interrupted line? If all another pictures, it is non-interrupted. Why in your picture these structures become to interrupted? Can you tell me? Why you are so unattentive? Then we make these pictures, dear, to be attentive. Let's say now calculate it, please. How many rings we have in anterior, how many in posterior?
4.
4 in anterior and only 1 in posterior. That's why from 5 neurovascular bundles of your forearm, 4 will be located anteriorly, only 1 posteriorly. Why? Because anterior region is more protected. Do you understand me or not? So remember, please, due to our physiological position, majority of vessels and nerves in the forearm region are located anteriorly. In arm, due to the physiological position, it is located anteriorly medially because arm is not turned like the forearm in such a way. This is normal physiological position. You can see that exactly medial surface look to inside. For forearm, anterior surface look to inside. Do you understand me or not? That's why fat is much more developed anteriorly, medially, and less developed posteriorly and laterally to make the protectional function. Let's continue. Now, inside of the fat, let's start to draw the neurovascular structures. Remember forever, structures in the fat doesn't matter the region, called superficial. Now, I will draw superficial structures, vessels and nerves. And again, attract your attention into the rule. In fatty tissue of extremities, we don't have arteries. We have only veins and sensory nerves. Let's start from sensory nerves. One is medial, number 4, and one is lateral, number 5. Call the fourth one nervus cutaneus antebrachymedialis, and call the fifth one nervus cutaneus antebrachylateralis. Fourth, nervus cutaneus antebrachymedialis. Fifth one, nervus cutaneus antebrachylateralis. What is ununderstandable? This is 4, this is 5. What is the problem here? What is confuse your life? Fourth one called cutaneus antebrachymedialis. Fifth one, cutaneus. By the way, guys, when I work with you, I find whole catastrophical situation of your brain. You know, even 6-time repetition of the teacher, it's not enough for you to memorize the structure. So bad, guys, so poor brain condition. Use your brain, dear, doesn't keep it. Try to improve your memory. Make the IQ tests, I don't know, train your memory It's impossible. 6 times teacher repeated the name of structure, and again you look to each other exercise books. Origin of the structures. Fourth one, it is from the medial cord of the brachial plexus. As you remember, the same structure we have in all arm region, and in upper and in middle and in lower third. Fifth one, guys, that is new, but not really new. It is continuation of muscula cutaneus. You remember I told you that this name, muscula cutaneus, show its function. In arm region, it is supply muscles. In cubital and forearm region, it supply the skin. And we call it lateral skin nerve of the forearm. So remember, please, lateral skin nerve of the forearm, it is the same muscular cutaneus, just its continuation to the cubital and forearm regions. One more green point I will put backside, the sixth one. Again, not new for you. We call it posterior skin nerve of the forearm, nervus cutaneus antebrachyposterior. That's an antebrachymedialis. Fourth one, antebrachyllateralis. Fifth one, an antebrachyposterior. Medial skin nerve of forearm, lateral skin nerve of forearm, posterior skin nerve of the forearm. In the brachystrate, please, the branch of nervus radialis. Again, if you will open all our cross sections of the arm region, you will find it, because it is passed through the whole arm region. By the way, it is afunctional in the arm. It just transitory pass to come in the forearm region and to start to work here. Let's continue now a little bit medially to the fifth nerve. I put the point 7 blue, and little bit laterally to the fourth nerve, I put the blue point 8. Blue point 7 and blue point 8. And write please the names. The 7 one we call cephalic vein, it's located laterally. 8 one, of course, we call basilic vein, it's located medially. And may need attention to me, please. May need attention to me. In 33% of cases, don't draw it, but we will have one more blue point here. What is it? Then we studied together the cubital region. I told you that between basilic and cephalic, we can have 3 types of the junction. H shape, N shape, and M shape. In case of M-shaped junction, one more vein is originated from the angle of this M, which is called mediana antebrachi. If I will make now, for example, investigation in this group, I will see equal 33% of each option. Or H-shape option, or N-shape option, or M-shape. But only M-shape will give the new vein in the forearm region, which is called vena mediana antebrachi. Remember it, please. Oh, you guys, so hard to work. Now let's start to draw bones. Bones, if it is upper third, of course we will have big, very big ulna. It is bone 9. Triangular shape, but if you look to my picture, you will see that medial surface of this triangle fused with the proper fascia. Laterally deep to the ulnar bone, we will have the next one. By the way, it is shifted triangle. It is shifted triangle. What does it mean? This is not the lateral, but this is posterior margin. That's anterior margin, posterior margin, and medial margin. And that is the 10 structure. Of course, it is radius. Now these two opposite margins join to each other by interossal membrane. Structure 11, for example. What is the interossal membrane, dear friend? Functionally, what is it? What is it functionally? Awful, guys. Do you study anatomy? Bones connected to each other by continuous and by non-continuous ways. Non-continuous connection we call joint. Continuous connections divided into several types. Synchondros, syndesmos, synastos. What does it mean, synchondros? Connection by the cartilage. What does it mean, synastos? Bone. Can you give me the example of synastos? Friends, that is the school information. That is the first year of the university. Your bone sutures. Skull bone sutures. What does it mean, syndesmos? Connective tissue. What is it? Syndesmos. Syndesmos. Your radius and your ulna connected by syndesmos. Same syndesmos you will have in your leg region between tibia and between fibula. Same interosseous membrane. Now look to me, guys. We draw all necessary structures except one to show the spaces. Last structure which I will draw to form the spaces we call intermuscular septas. What is the intermuscular septa? Let's remember, proper fascia in extremities has double layers, superficial and deep. And deep layer of the proper fascia towards the bones give the septas. Just the problem is connected with one specificity. In the region with single bone, the septus is double layer. Like my fingers look to me. Let's say which kind of space is for? Friend, you don't know and you don't look. Yeah, you want to sleep, I see. That is awful. I'm sure everybody in your home have a lot of the people who will explain the same for you. If it's so good here, home, ask, I don't know, to the TV set, and maybe TV set will explain your discussion. Otherwise, why you don't listen? Can you just repeat my question? Do you appreciate this? I don't understand. If you are not a small child, you are small only for your father and mother. For me, you are not small. Attract your attention, please. Once again, I tell you, the problem is connected with region of this intermuscular septa. In the parts of extremity with single bone, septus has double layers. And between these two layers, you can see space, which is called interfacial space. In the regions with the single bone, septa has single layer. That's no any interfacial space we don't have. This is immediately region with double bone. It's a septa will have one layer and we will not have any interfacial space. Except interfacial space, there are second type of space, which is called osteofacial compartment. Immediately here we will have only osteofacial compartment. In the region with single bone, there are both type of the spaces, and interfacial and osteofacial. And interfacial it is place for vessels and nerves. Osteofacial it is place of the muscles. But here, due to absence of the interfacial, and muscles and vessels will be in interfacial, osteofacial compartment. Is it understandable for you? Are you sure? To be honest, dear, if I will ask you now to repeat, will you do it? Now look to me, from the proper fascia provided one septa to the anterior margin of the radial bone, put the letter A, and one more septa to the posterior margin of the radial bone, put the septa B. And you can see now, friends, that all these deep region, why I call it deep? Because it is under of proper fascia. Again, I tell you, everything which is superficial to the proper fascia, we call superficial. Everything which is under the proper fascia, we call deep. Doesn't matter what is it, artery, vein, nerve, muscle, it is deep. Under the proper fascia, we have deep structures. Let's say all these deep structures now, we split it into 1, 2, and 3 osteofacial compartments. Do you see it, guys? Call, please, number 1, anterior. Functionally, we call it flexors compartment. Call, please, number 2, lateral. Call, please, number 3, posterior. Functionally, extensors. By the way, in the lateral also we have flexor muscles. Once again, anterior, lateral, and posterior compartments. Is it understandable for you? Why so unemotional here? When I look to you, I don't recognize any emotion here. Time to time, guys, move your head, show me, do you understand? Because I need to recognize knowledge is understandable or not. When you look to me that way, I cannot recognize anything. You understand me? Help me, please. Let's have, if not verbal contact, let's have emotional contact. Okay, this is 3 compartments. Now we need attention to me. From these 3 compartments, first and second included in anterior forearm region. Third is included in posterior. How we make this division? Now look to me. First of all, let's remember the borders of the forearm region. As you remember, 2 fingers below the palpated epicondyles of the brachial bone. You put 2 fingers below the epicondyles and provide a circular line. 2 fingers, it is 4 centimeters approximately. That's a superior border of your forearm. It is circular line, 2 fingers below the epicondyles of the brachial bone. Inferiorly, guys, it's very simply, you palpate the styloid of your radius. 1 finger or 2 centimeters above this base of styloid, you provide the second circular line. And this circular line will be bordered between your hand and between your forearm region. Upper line, it is bordered between your cubital region and forearm region. Lower border, it is bordered between forearm and your hand. Okay, but that is only borders. How we will make subdivision? Now look to me, it's very simple. From the medial side, imaginary line between medial epicondyle and pisiform bone. From the lateral side, lateral epicondyle, tip of the styloid. Do you understand me? In front of these lines, we have anterior forearm. Behind of these lines, we have posterior forearm. Then I make this division, first, second compartment, together with the symmetrical skin and fat, included in anterior forearm, posterior compartment with surrounding skin and fat, included in the posterior forearm region. So remember this, that is anterior forearm. This is posterior forearm. Now inside of this posterior compartment, draw please the deep layer of proper fascia. And split this posterior compartment 3 into 3-1 and 3-2. 3-1 it is superficial posterior, 3-1 it is deep posterior. There's a posterior compartment divided into superficial 3-2 and deep 3-1. Is it understandable for you? Okay, I'm happy, I'm glad. Now let's clean these numbers and let's start to fill our picture with neurovascular structures and with muscles. Let's come to the compartment 2 first of all, because as you can see, it's smallest one. So let's start to fill it first of all. Inside of this compartment in upper third, let's say, don't forget that this is picture of upper third now, not middle, but upper. Draw please 2 structural units, the first and the second. Numbers. Last is 10.
Yes, 11.
11. Which is 11?
Interosseous.
11. 12 and 13. But then you will draw this 13th one. Please mention some canal which is formed between 10 and 13. And for this canal, put the number 14. Let's mention the name of these structures. I will show for you a real picture to recognize all these mentioned structures for you. Right, please, the 12th one we call musculus brachioradialis. Not new for you, because in arm region, lower third of arm, we draw it. Then it comes to the cubital region, and then it descended to the forearm region. You can find it here. Is it visible for you? This is brachioradialis. You can see that it started not in the forearm region, but it started from the lower third of the arm. And I want to remind you that in cubital region, it forms the lateral group of the muscles. Do you remember in cubital region 3 groups? Lateral, medial, and 2 grooves. You can see anterior lateral and anterior medial groove. And as you remember, in our previous diagram, we draw 2 neurovascular bundles inside of this group. Anterior medial, anterior lateral. That's a brachialis. 13th one, musculus supinator. Supinator muscle, meaning tension, guys, has very interesting position. Look at this. It's also originated from the lateral epicondyle. Then it has the spring-shaped form, yeah? From anterior portion, it comes to the back. That's in middle and in lower third. Lower third is generally absent. But in the middle third, look, it goes to the backside. It goes to the backside. That's only in upper third, it is anterior muscle. Then it goes to the back, and in another our cross sections, we will draw it inside of third, not inside of the second. Now about this canal, number 14, call it canalis supinatorius, the supinator canal. And inside of this canal, draw please the nerve 15, and call it please deep branch of radialis. Ramus profundus nervi radialis. From my previous diagram, you remember that it has another name also. We call it nervus interosseus posterior. Because after it will come to the posterior interossal vessels and will form the neurovascular bundle with them. Now, we need attention to me. Again, let's remember the cubital region. Inside of the cubital region, let's remember the anterior lateral groove. If you remember, inside of this groove, we have the nervus radialis with arteria collateralis radialis. If you will open your diagram, you will find it. Nervus radialis with arteria collateralis radialis. And you can see that in the lower part of this groove, nervus radialis split it into 2 terminal branches, superficial branch and deep branch. Now, need attention to me. Superficial one will come to the anterior forearm, deep one goes to posterior. But it goes to posterior again in this round-shaped mode. In the same time, if you will look to your diagram, you will see common interossal artery, which is split it into 2 branches, anterior and posterior. Interossal posterior artery much more shortly go to the backside. How? By perforation of interossal membrane. That's an artery perforated membrane and go to the backside. Nerve is come by canalis supinatorius. But in middle and lower third, they will pass together. And interossal posterior nerve, together with deep branch of the radialis, will form the neurovascular bundle. That's why deep branch of the radialis we also call posterior interossal nerve. So this is synonyms. You can use which one you want. You can call it deep branch of radialis. You can call it posterior interossalis. That will be absolutely same. Is it understandable for you? Very well. Now let's come to the anterior compartment. And let's draw the muscles in the anterior compartment. 3 layers of muscles. Now remember, please, anterior, middle, third. Compartment 1 contains 3 layers of muscle. Lower third, 4 layers of the muscles. Let's say now we draw upper third. Let's say here will be 3 muscular layers. Let's draw together. Layer number 1 will contain 4 muscles. Layer number 2 will contain 1 muscle. Layer number 3 will contain 2 muscles. So let's put the numbers 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. All right, the names 16 one we call the pronator teres, 17 one we call flexor carpi radialis, 18 palmaris longus, 19 flexor carpi ulnaris. Once again, 16 pronator teres, 17 flexor carpi radialis, 18 palmaris longus, 19 flexor carpi ulnaris. Now, a little bit anatomy about these muscles. Now, look to me, everybody. We have two flexors. One for the wrist joint, yeah, one in the lateral side, one in the medial side. When you flex only one, it means make the tight tilting of the hand in that side. Then you flex another in the opposite side. Then you flex both, you make the flexion in the wrist joint. This is not the finger flexors. This is wrist joint flexors. Let's say, remember please, muscle 17 and muscle 19 make the flexion of the wrist joint. Now look to the muscle 16. Muscle 16 is called pronator teres. Teres, it means round pronator. If you will look to this picture, look please here, you will see this is pronator teres. It is started from the medial epicondyle, then it is passed to the lateral and deep side. Look to me, everybody. This movement, can you show me pronatio? Yeah. Friend, that is funny. You know, I don't ask you some specific or some questions. This function of your muscles. Second year of university, you don't know what does it mean. Flexion, extension, pronatio, supinatio, adductio, abductio. It is funny. Supination, of course. And you don't need so long time to memorize it. This is pronatio. This is supinatio. Now 1 minute attention. Supinator is 1 in upper extremity. And we draw it together by number 13. Pronators is 2. First pronator, 1 minute attention to me. Located in upper and middle and reach the lower third. Second pronator located only in lower third. Upper pronator we call round pronator teres. We draw it 16-1. Lower pronator will be only in lower third, and you can find it in the picture. We call it pronator quadratus. It is only in the lower third. Why 2 pronators? It's very easy. Who can tell me why we need 2 pronators? Because we can make pronatio of all extremity and only of our wrist region. Look, I fix my forearm and make pronatio of my hand only. That's a lower pronator responsible for this movement, upper pronator for that movement. So you can make whole extremity pronatio, and you can make only hand pronatio. Is it understandable for me? And finally, muscle 18, which is called palmaris longus. You know, guys, they're very unique muscle. I want to remind you that in middle and lower third of your forearm, it has tendon-shaped form. It's not muscular. And it will reach to your palmar surface, and here will be fused with your palmar aponeurosis. With proper fascia, together with proper fascia, it forms the aponeurosis, which is, as you remember, triangular shaped form. Let's say this muscle we need to make thicker proper fascia of your palm. Is it and to make tension of this proper fascia? Is it understandable for you? That is functionally all your muscles of the first layer. Now, muscle 20. Call please flexor digitorum superficialis, superficial finger flexor. Anyone? Flexor pollicis longus, the long flexor of first finger. 22. Flexor digitorum profundus. Aha, look, we come to conclusion that your fingers have not one but two flexors, superficial one and deep one. Who can remind me what is the function of each flexor of the finger? Of course it is from anatomy, that's why I ask you. That is the worst group of the second year. Guys, I like you very much. You're very great people. But the gods know why in your group we have the concentration of the peoples without knowledge. That is awful. I will explain you guys. As you remember, yeah, your superficial tendon come to your second digital phalanx, split it into two legs and fuse to the two sides. Deep one pass between them and come to the terminal phalanx and fuse with it. Let's say then you make the constriction of only one, you can make the flexion in first year joint. Then you make constriction of both, you will make the flexion in all finger joints. Is it understand? Because last your nail joint doesn't have any tension to the superficial flexor. Deep one comes to it. Remember this picture. This is superficial. That is deep. Superficial is split. Deep is passed between them and goes to the last phalanx. Last we call distal. First we call proximal. Do you have questions? Let's continue and let's come to the back side. And let's draw the muscles in the back side. And first of all, superficially draw 5 muscles. Deeply draw 4 muscles. And put the numbers from 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Now write the names, please. The 23 one called extensor carpi-radialis longus. Extensor carpi-radialis longus. Next one, extensor carpi-radialis brevis, 24. 25 extensor digitorum. I especially open for you the picture. You can find it in the pictures. Extensor digitorum. 26 extensor digiti minimi. Digitus minimus, it is your 5th finger. 27 extensor carpi ulnaris. Once again, 23 extensor carpi radialis longus, 24 extensor carpi radialis brevis, 25 extensor digitorum, 26 extensor digiti minimi, 27 extensor carpi ulnaris. Is it understandable for you? Go to the deep layer. 28, right, please. Abductor, pollicis longus. Brito, can you show me abduction of your first finger? Show me abduction. Now show me adduction. Brito is absolutely right. Thank you very much. Adduction, then you move it to the midline. Abduction, then you far leave it from the midline. That's a abductor, located in posterior forearm. There is adductor in the thenar region. By the way, in the thenar region also we will have short muscles of the first finger. Remember, please, this is the region of the tenor. So once again, 28 one, it is abductor. 29, it is extensor pollicis longus. By the way, short extensor also located in forearm. 31, it is short extensor of the first finger. Once again, 28 one, abductor pollicis longus. 29, extensor pollicis longus. 30, extensor pollicis brevis. And finally, 31, extensor digiti indici. Index, it is your second finger. Once again, 28, abductor pollicis longus. 29, extensor pollicis longus. 30, extensor pollicis brevis. 31, extensor digiti indici. That's all, friends. This is all our muscles. What I should do next, I will draw vessels and nerves, and I will show the places of their location. But conclusion we can make just now. No interfacial spaces, that's why vessels and nerves will be between the muscles. Between the muscles. I don't say inside of the muscles. This is the big difference. Now look to me. Brittle one muscle, I am another muscle. And between these two muscles, we will put the vessels and nerves. You can ask me, why not inside? It is simple, because inside, during muscular constriction, they can be compressed. That's why we must find evolutionally the best place for their location, and it will be between, not inside. Do you understand me? And between some muscles even, you will see formation of the grooves. Not, by the way, not all vessels and nerves will be inside of the groove. What does it mean, groove? Groove, it means small loose connective tissue. Some muscles will not be attached to each other. Between them will be lift some gap, and that will be necessary for biggest vessels and nerves. Biggest vessels and nerves will have more protection inside of this groove, protection from the constriction, for compression. Let's start to draw it. First of all, guys, put the ring between 12 and 16 and call this ring AB. Let's use the C. What is the C? Right, please. C is called sulcus radialis, the radial groove. C is called sulcus radialis. In upper third, you can see that it is between muscle 12 and 16, yeah? But we need attention into this picture, guys. This is the groove which I show now for you. This is brachioradialis, it is muscle 12, and this is pronator teres, muscle 16. Do you see the groove? Do you see the groove? So great. But look below. As you can see in middle and lower third, the same groove located between 12 and 17 muscle. This is flexor carpi radialis, because pronator teres goes to the much more deep. That's why in middle third, the same groove, I will draw between 12 and 17. If in upper third, it is between 12 and 16, again I show for you. In middle and lower third, it is between 12 and 17. Is it understandable for you? Okay, I'm happy. Now let's draw the structures inside of it. Now laterally, I put the green point in my picture. This is the structure 32. And medially, I put the red point. In my picture, this is the structure 33. Call these structures, please. 32, it is superficial branch of nervus radialis. Again, do you remember our previous diagram just minutes before we show that nervus radialis split it into two terminal branches. One is going to the canalis supinatorius, it is 15-1. Second one, come to the anterior forearm, it is 32-1. Let's say this is two terminal branches of your nervus radialis. 15-1 we call ramus profundus, 32-1 we call ramus superficialis. Continue, please. Structure 33, of course, it is arteria radialis. These two structures together forms the neurovascular bundle, which is called radial. Once again, 32 together with 33 forms the radial neurovascular bundle of forearm. Again, I will ask my dear friend to open the previous picture. And if you will look to this picture, look please. You will see that superficial branch of the radialis in the lower third of the forearm goes to the back. Why? Because your palm doesn't innervate it by the radialis. In your palm we have two nerves. It is medianus and ulnaris. The radialis will not go to your anterior hand, it will come to the back. That's why in the lowest picture, in the last cross section, I will direct it to the back side. Why can I tell you? Because your dorsal hand is innervated by radialis, not your palmar. Mohammed, which percent of the information which I give for you, you remember? That is an interesting question for me because I must understand what is the value of my word. Can you repeat it now? What I say about superficial branch of the nervus radialis? Just repeat the sentence which I 3 times now. Just repeat it. Ahmed, the understanding is so deep. Problems you are locating. In so deep hole you put yourself. You just understand it or not. It's like you're the person who wants to eat something. I cook for you the beautiful dishes, and you don't know why doesn't want even to test it. Why you are a hungry person? Because you don't have the knowledge. Why I am the chef for you? Because I give you this knowledge. But God knows why do you not want to take it, Muhammad? If you can take, prove me, just repeat what I tell you now. Just repeat. Why I need your any explanation. Just prove me, repeat that you listen what about I spoke. What does it mean? Can you make the voices or no? Or you just speak for yourself in your mind? What about I speak just now? It is so ununderstandable. You choose to work in the medicine, you come to the medical university, teacher is ready to give you knowledge, and God knows why you are not here by your mind. No, it's not friend. You are not his brain, you know? You are not his brain. His brain located in its own cranial cavity. But I see you are outside of this cranial cavity. That is your life, guys. Do what you want. What do you want? If you think that in my today's day, due to your abnormal behavior, something will be changing in my life, no. My life will be very bright, very beautiful, very colorful, and nothing will not be changing in my life. But in your life will be change everything. It's how you will work in the future in the medicine by such kind of the knowledge. That is big puzzle for me. I just don't want to attract my attention, especially for him. I know that in 90% of the students, if I will make the same, will be the same result. Why you are disagree with me, friend? Why you are disagree with me? Please. Yeah, let's have the conversation. Why you are disagree with me? So, please don't worry, I don't make physical punishment. Why you are disagree with me? Please. Please, friend. Then somebody asks you what is your name, nobody doesn't wish that you will give the long explanation. The person who is asked your name need to listen, nothing more. I ask you the question. If you know, just answer. If you don't know, all your explanation, her help, or something else doesn't change anything in your life. Forget about blah, 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 dear. If you need to prove something, you have the chance. Use this chance. The teacher gives you a chance. You can now show that your teacher is completely stupid. And this question doesn't have any idea. You don't do it. You wait to the sides, then part of your brains, which is seated near of you, will help you. In the future, she will not come and not treat your patients, believe me. She will have her own family, works, and anything else. So that's why, guys, you look to the Donald Trump or some other peoples who is making the populism, and you think that the most powerful in our life it is to move our tongue. No, dear, moving of the tongue is not so important. You must show your responsibility, or you are a respectful person, you know, or you are not a respectful person, you don't know. Will you speak long or will you speak less? Will not change anything. Let's continue. Now, the next ring, guys, I will put now between 19 and 20 structures. And this ring will be ring B. And call it, please, the ulnar groove. Ulnar groove. By the way, just by this part of the inclination, you can make easy conclusion. Ulnar groove is deeper than the radial one. Why? Because radial one belongs to the first layer of the muscles. Ulnar groove located between first and second layer of the muscles. And inside of this ulnar groove, my dear friends, in the upper third, I will draw only one structure. Only one structure. And sure, it will not be artery, it will be nerve. And put this number 34 and call it, please, nervus ulnaris. Ulnar nerve. Nervus ulnaris. You can say me, but where is the ulnar artery? Where is the ulnar artery? Why ulnar artery not inside of it? Now, 1 minute attention to me. Answer of this question is very simple, guys. Ulnar artery and and radial artery both originated approximately midpoint of anterior cubital region. As you remember, brachial artery split it into two branches. Lateral we call radial, medial we call ulnar. Now look, this radial artery located exactly in the level of the radial groove. That's why it is exactly enter inside of the radial groove together with the nerve. But ulnar artery located far from the ulnar groove, because ulnar groove located strongly by medial surface. That's why ulnar nerve pass by the medial surface. From back of the cubit, it comes in front of the forearm and exactly enter inside of the groove. That's an ulnar nerve projected by vertical line, which is connected your medial epicondyle with the pisiform bone. Ulnar artery projected by angular line. First of all, it will come from midpoint to the border point between upper and middle third of the medial surface. And only from this middle third, it will pass together with the nerve inside of the groove. That's why remember, please, if for ulnar nerve we draw projectional vertical descending line, from ulnar artery it is angular line, from midpoint to the border point, from border point towards the pisiformis. That's why here ulnar artery doesn't locate it in the groove. In middle and in lower third, it will be in groove. But where is it? In this level, guys, it is located approximately here, between 16, 17, and 20 muscles. And put here, please, the number 35, and call it, please, the ulnar artery. Now attract your attention into 33 and into 35. This is two terminal branches of your brachial artery. 33 called radialis, 35 called ulnaris. Remember, please, about it. And let's continue. Let's continue, my dear friends. Let's continue. We don't finish to draw the vessels and nerves. We need the more vessels and nerves. And first of all, inside of the 16, between 16 and 17, I draw one blue, one green, and one red point. My green point, this is structure 36. My red point, it is structure 37. I think you understand what is it. 36, it is nervus medianus. 37, it is arteria mediana. Again, I will ask you, if it is not hard, to open our diagram. Find, please, the structure A. It is nervus medianus. And find, please, the branch, which number is it?
This one.
This black, which is passed together with this blue one.
17.
17. And find the structure 17, which is called arteria mediana, which is the branch of the anterior interossal artery. Let's say these two structures, 36 and 37, forms the neurovascular bundle, which is called the median neurovascular bundle of the forearm. In the upper third, it is located inside of the pronator teres muscle. In the middle third, it will be between superficial and deep flexor muscles. In the lower third, it will be inside of the groove, which is called sulcus medianus. But this is the upper third, that's how we draw it inside of the pronator teres. Let's continue. Again, vessels and nerves is not finished. Now one more red and one more green points. I put in front of interossal membrane. Just in front. No, it's not above, guys. I teach you 100 times that in the cross section upper, in reality is anterior. In cross section lower, in loop. You understand why it is not upper? Why in this picture it is upper structure, but they call it anterior? Oh, this is the question of Albert Einstein level here. Because in cross-section, you look in this position. In that position, upper one will become to anterior. No. Again, no. Again. No. Again, no. Look to me. This is position of your extremities. How we draw this position in the cross-section? We lift extremity, we cut extremity, and we look from in front to behind. Anterior structures shown like upper. Posterior structures shown like lower. You understand now? Really? I can explain once again. Is it necessary? Let's say this is anterior structures, not upper structures. Put the numbers, please. Number 38 and number 39. Of course, you have it in your previous picture also. Again, I will ask you to open it and to find these two structures. Letter?
That is F.
Letter F, number?
14.
14? Where is the number?
This one.
14 and F, find, please, in the previous picture. Now 14 here, we come to the 39. Call it, please, arteria interossea anterior. And F become to nervus interosseus anterior, 38. 38, nervus interosseus anterior, you remember it is branch of the medianus. 39, it is arteria interossea anterior, which is branch of common interossal artery. They located immediately in front of the interossal membrane. Now look to me. Behind the interossal membrane, I draw just only artery 14. No nerve. No nerve. Why no nerve? First of all, we call it posterior interossal artery. Can you tell me why no nerve? Continue to sleep, because I told you the nerve is 15 here. If artery come by perforation of the interossal membrane, short way, I showed it before. Nerves go by the spring-shaped wall from the anterior to the backside. Let's say nerve is still here. It is the deep branch of the radialis. Then it should come to the backside, and together with this artery will forms the neurovascular bundle. But in the level of the upper third, it is located in canalis supinatorius. The nerve doesn't reach the posterior region. But in middle and lower third, it will be behind of the interossal membrane in the posterior osteofacial compartment. When we finish our lesson, 1:30, yeah? Make the break time. The picture is finished. You can write now the name of the next one, middle third picture. And then we will continue our explanation.